Good afternoon, good evening, students. I hope you're doing good. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I have decided to start a new chapter concerning linguistics. This decision is based on the fact many students out there messaged me, second year students to be more precise, they messaged me and asked for explanation concerning linguistics. So here it is. Before I start, leave a like for the Facebook page of this channel in order to be notified in case I post something new, and also subscribe. That would encourage me a lot in order to do more and to put more efforts into it. It will help you as well because you guys are going to be notified on YouTube as well. Now, if you're just looking for videos, you can find them on this channel. You can find lectures concerning civilization and literature, of course, both American and British civilization, American civilization, and both British literature and American literature as well. If you're looking for linguistics for first year students, you can find them as well. I have started a chapter concerning that. Anyways, as you can see, we are going to speak about, or we are going to explain phonology. Why phonology, you may ask? Because phonology is a branch of linguistics indeed. So this year we are going to speak about, or this semester more precisely, we're going to speak about the branches of linguistics, such as phonology, semantics, etymology, syntax. All these are branches of linguistics, and we are going to see them in the upcoming videos, of course. Today, we are going to deal with only phonology. So we will start with the definition of phonology. What do we mean by phonology? I am going to give a standard definition, easy to understand, not to retain, do not learn by heart. It is not good. It is not recommended, of course. I will start explaining it briefly, and in case you haven't understood anything, you can always ask in the comments below or message the Facebook page of the channel. We shall start with phonology. What do we mean by phonology? Phonology is a description of the systems and patterns of speech sounds in a language, right? The theory of what every speaker of the language unconsciously knows about the sound patterns of that language. To explain, for example, I am speaking English, right? This is a reflex. I am speaking English, let's say, spontaneously. For me, it's a reflex, but for my mind unconsciously knows about the sound patterns. How is this language, for example, divided, structured, built? So we go to phonemes. Each word I utter, it is the combination of phonemes, right? This is what phonology deals with. Anyways, phonology, you should know that phonology is concerned with the abstract or mental aspect of these sounds that we are talking about, rather than with the actual physical articulation. When we speak about the actual physical articulation of sounds, we are talking about phonetics, right? But when we speak about the abstract and mental aspects, we are speaking about phonology. I hope this is clear because this is very important. Even those who are studying phonetics, first year or second year students, you are going to need this as well. Alright, for example, we shall exemplify in order to make things easier. We have the word far, we have the word bar, we have the word tar, or in British English, fa, ba, and ta. Anyways, you can notice that these words are similar, but there is a difference in one phoneme, one sound. It is in the beginning, right? The first word is fa, which we omit the f, we put a b. It becomes ba. We omit the b, we put the t. It becomes ta. Thanks to these sounds, that the words get meaning. Because if we omit th and we put b, it changes the meaning. So thanks to the fact that we change these sounds, the meaning changes, right? So we create new words. So these sounds, we say that these sounds, f, b, t are meaningfully distinct. This is very important. About phonology, phonology allows us to distinguish meaning in the actual physical sounds we say and hear. This is very important. Now we go to something that we call phonemes. Right? Every sound, right? Every, let's say, not letter, but a sound, every sound in a language is called a phoneme. Right? It is represented by a single symbol and it is put between slashes. Right? And the different realization of this phoneme is called a token, or in plural, tokens. Right? So when we say, for example, the word tall and the word not tall, it's tall, and the word city. You see here, when we have the sound t in the beginning in phonetics, when we are speaking about, for example, let's say a phone, right? It is aspirated. Instead of saying t, we say t. But in the word city, we do not say city, we say city, right? So the phonemes are put between slashes, and slashes are used to indicate a phoneme. I hope this is clear for now. When we speak about square brackets, the square brackets are used for each phonetic, physical, produced segment. When you put slashes, it means you are talking about phonemes. When you put square brackets, you are talking about phonetic, physically produced segments that, of course, it is related to phonetics and not phonology. And when we speak about phonemes, the phonemes, you should know that they function contrastively. It means the opposite. They are not, let's say, the same. Phonemes function contrastively because they determine, the phonemes, the other phonemes which exist in a language. For example, we have the word fan, we have the word van, or fine and vine. If we substitute, or if we replace one sound for another in a word, and there is a change in meaning, the second sound represents different phonemes. It's universal. It's logical, right? There are some features or characters that distinguish one phoneme for another, and you are going to deal with that in phonetics, of course, in details, not in this branch right now as second year students. I hope this is clear for now, because we are moving to phones and allophones. For the phones or the allophones, what do you mean by that? While the phoneme is the abstract unit or sound type in the mind, there are many different versions. And these versions are called tokens, right? And tokens is the same thing with phones. Do not get confused, right? And these tokens are phonetic units and pairs. They are put between square brackets. So a set of phones or a set of tokens associated to one phoneme are called allophones. For example, a quick example, the phoneme t. It has many allophones. Why many? It doesn't have only one phone. It has allophones. For example, the phoneme t can be pronounced fully aspirated, right? It can be pronounced, for example, unaspirated or less aspirated. It is a set of allophones of one phoneme. This is what we call allophones or tokens of one phoneme. So while the phoneme is the smallest contrastive unit of speech, which may bring about change of meaning, example mat and bat, for example, or vine and fine, phonemes are the abstract image of sound type in the brain. Like I said, our brain reasons. Our brain already knows how the system of sounds works, right? But on the other hand, phone is a unit of speech sound. A phoneme is a seat of phones, which means without a phoneme you won't have phones. And allophones is the seat of the possible spoken sounds used to pronounce one single phoneme. Right? This completes the other. For example, you have the word pin and spin. Both of them are, we can say, different. They have the sound p, right? P in the word pin is aspirated because it's in the beginning of the word and it has a vowel, right? Right after it. You are going to deal with this in phonetics. On the other hand, the second word is spin. We cannot aspirate the p because it is preceded by s. Again, it is a rule that you are going to deal with when you study phonetics as a module. But when you say aspirated p and not non-aspirated p, these are allophones of the phoneme p. This is very important. You have to know the difference between an allophone and the phoneme. Sorry, I'm sorry. If you do not have a phoneme, the allophones cannot exist. Now we move to let's say another part. It is the minimal pairs or the minimal sets. What do we mean by that? For example, when two words such as pat and bat, right, are identical in form except for a contrast in one phoneme, which means fat and bat or pat and bat, when we have two words, right? Two words, they are almost the same. Both of them have the at the end, but they are different in the beginning. We removed p, we put b. This is called a minimal pair, right? Of course, we have to have this difference in the same position. For example, if I change p in pat, the second word, I have to put the new letter in the beginning because pat, the sound p is in the beginning, right? So the change has to occur in the same position. The two are called minimal pairs, like I said. Just like sight and side, fan and van, dune and tune. I mean, these are examples of minimal pairs. When it comes to minimal sets, it is more than two words. You can have 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. Then we move to the last part that we call phonotactics. When it comes to phonotactics, you should know that it is a branch of phonology that deals with the restrictions in a language on the possible combination of phonemes, because each language has its own rules. So you cannot just combine phonemes randomly and expect to have words, right? If you do that, sometimes you won't have meaningful words. This is why phonotactics was made, in order to restrict you, or to put the restrictions in a language, right, to find out the possible combination of phonemes. For example, you have leg and vig. They are not part of the minimal set because they are not English words. And who says, or what says, that they are not English words? It is phonotactics, of course, right? This is basically a summary about phonology, but you should know that it is a vast study, a vast field where you can find many other rules, many things to discover. I advise you to read Peter Roach. He's just he's the one that you need in order to understand all these things that are related to phonetics in general. So if you have understood something, that's more like it. I'm very glad to hear that. Otherwise, if you have questions or troubles or problems, you can always ask them in the comments below. Otherwise, you can message me on the Facebook page of this channel, and I will answer, of course, as soon as I see your message or your comment. Otherwise, I tell you, see you in the next video. Peace.